When someone ignores you, it stings. That sharp pain of being overlooked or dismissed can leave you feeling confused, powerless, and desperate for answers. But here's a powerful truth: while you cannot control what others do, you can control how you respond. This isn't about making them regret ignoring you, nor is it about proving anything to anyone else. This is about reclaiming your inner strength, protecting your emotional well-being, and rising above the silence. Today, I'm going to share with you some powerful Stoic tactics that will help you not only navigate the difficult experience of being ignored, but also transform it into an opportunity for growth. You'll learn how to stop chasing validation, shift your focus inward, and use the power of silence to your advantage. By the end of this video, you'll understand that true power doesn't come from forcing a reaction or chasing someone's attention. It comes from knowing your own worth, standing firm in your confidence, and mastering the art of emotional self-control. So if you've ever felt dismissed, hurt, or confused by someone's silence, stay tuned. Together, we'll explore how to rise above it all, embrace your inner strength, and take back control of your emotional landscape. It's time to show the world and yourself what you're truly made of. 1. Stop chasing. Start standing your ground. Have you ever found yourself feeling out of control when someone suddenly starts ignoring you? It's a feeling that can stir up anxiety, frustration, and even a sense of desperation. Naturally, when faced with such a situation, our first instinct is often to chase after the person in an attempt to regain their attention. We send more messages, make more calls, and perhaps even try to explain ourselves. But here's a crucial question: does this chasing ever truly work? The reality is, it usually doesn't. When you chase after someone who's ignoring you, you're giving them control over your emotions. It's as if you're telling them, "My worth depends on how much attention you give me." This creates an unhealthy power imbalance, where the other person holds the key to your emotional state. The more you pursue them, the more you reinforce this dynamic, and instead of pulling them closer, your desperation tends to push them further away. It's like trying to grasp water in your hands. The tighter you hold on, the faster it slips away. So what can you do instead? The answer lies not in continuing the pursuit, but in stepping back and standing your ground. When you stop chasing and give the situation space, something remarkable happens. You reclaim your power. Rather than appearing desperate, you project strength, confidence, and self-worth. You send the message that your value is not dependent on anyone else's attention or approval. And in doing so, you create a sense of mystery and independence that often draws people back in a way chasing never could. Think for a moment about the people in your life whom you deeply respect. These individuals don't beg for attention. They don't chase after others who ignore them. Instead, they stand tall in their own worth. They exude a quiet confidence that demands respect, not through words, but through presence. They are grounded in who they are, and that's precisely what makes them so compelling. You can embody that same energy. You don't need to chase after anyone. Instead, you can let your silence speak louder than words. By pulling back, you are not only regaining control over your emotions, but you are also allowing the other person to recognize your absence, and often, that absence speaks volumes. In practical terms, this means resisting the urge to reach out. Right now, stop contacting them. Don't send that text, don't make that call, and don't try to explain your feelings. Give them the space to feel your absence and to realize what they might be missing. This isn't about playing games or manipulating the situation. It's about protecting your own emotional well-being. By doing this, you take back the power you've been giving away. You are showing that your value is not something to be negotiated or chased after. It's something that exists independently of how others treat you. You might find that once you stop chasing, they come back on their own. But even if they don't, you'll have gained something much more important: your self-respect and emotional stability. And that's a victory in itself. You are no longer tied to someone else's behavior or attention. Instead, you are standing firm in your worth, and that is something no one can take from you. Ultimately, the most powerful thing you can do when someone ignores you is to stop chasing after them. Your worth isn't determined by their recognition or acknowledgement. By pulling back, you regain control of your emotions and your life. If you find yourself in this situation today, take action by stepping away, focusing on your own self-worth, and letting others see the strength in your silence. You are in control of your future, and the sooner you stop chasing, the sooner you'll realize that your value comes from within, not from someone else's validation. 2. Shift your focus. It's all about you now. When someone ignores you, it's easy to feel hurt or even lose confidence. However, this moment isn't the end, but rather a chance to shift your focus back to where it truly belongs, on yourself. Instead of spending your energy trying to win their attention or validation, this is your opportunity to redirect that energy into your own personal growth. This is the turning point where transformation begins, where you take control of your story and start becoming the person you want to be. We all know how painful it can be when someone we care about or respect ignores us. The natural reaction is to question our self-worth or try to figure out what we did wrong. Often, we might even attempt to regain their attention, thinking that if we just try harder, they will come around. But the truth is, the more time you spend focusing on them, the less time you have to focus on yourself. The key is realizing that the energy you're investing in someone else could be better spent on your own development. When you make the decision to stop chasing after someone else's approval and instead invest in yourself, a remarkable shift happens. You reclaim your energy, your confidence, and your sense of purpose. No longer are you the victim waiting for someone else to validate your worth. You become the main character in your own life, taking charge of your future. This shift in focus is powerful because it gives you control over your own happiness. You no longer depend on external validation to feel good about yourself. Why does this approach work? Because when you focus on yourself, you regain control. You stop playing the role of someone waiting for attention and start creating a life where you don't need anyone else's validation. By doing this, you build your own sense of worth based on your own goals, values, and dreams. This is where true transformation begins. When you focus on improving yourself, you start living a life that feels fulfilling and exciting, regardless of what others think or how they treat you. Consider the stories of famous athletes, entrepreneurs, or artists who were once ignored or rejected. They didn't let those moments define them. Instead, they used those experiences as motivation to become even better. Michael Jordan, for instance, was famously cut from his high school basketball team, but he didn't let that rejection stop him. He worked harder, honed his skills, and eventually became one of the greatest basketball players of all time. These stories remind us that being ignored or rejected is not a dead end. It's a challenge to grow stronger and prove to yourself, more than anyone else, what you're capable of. So, what can you do right now to shift your focus? Start by setting a goal that is just for you. It could be improving your physical health by going to the gym, learning a new skill to advance your career, or diving into a hobby that excites you. The point is to commit to something that will make you feel alive and fulfilled. When you do this, you'll find that your sense of self-worth comes from within, not from anyone else's approval. You'll feel more confident, more energized, and more in control of your life. In the end, the power of shifting your focus from others to yourself cannot be overstated. It's not about ignoring the hurt or pretending that rejection doesn't sting. It's about choosing to use that moment as a catalyst for growth. By doing so, you reclaim control over your story and transform it into one of empowerment and self-discovery. Instead of waiting for someone else to notice you, you create a life that's impossible to ignore because it's built on your terms, not theirs. The next time someone ignores you, don't let it tear you down. Instead, take it as a sign that it's time to focus on yourself. Set a goal, make a plan, and start working towards becoming the best version of yourself. After all, the person who controls your happiness and success is you, not anyone else. So what will you do with this moment? Will you let it define you, or will you use it as fuel to rise even higher? The choice is yours. 3. Master the art of silence. There's an undeniable power in silence. It's not merely the absence of words, but rather the presence of control, confidence, and emotional stability. When someone ignores you, the first instinct is often to react, send a quick message, or seek out their attention. However, the most effective response in these situations might just be to say nothing at all. Instead of rushing to fill the void, silence offers a chance to shift the dynamics of the relationship, showing that you value yourself enough not to chase after their attention. When a person disregards you, a tension naturally forms. You may feel anxious, frustrated, or compelled to respond, but giving in to those feelings could only add fuel to the fire. Silence, on the other hand, builds a completely different kind of tension, one that forces the other person to sit with their thoughts. It creates a space where they are left alone to process their own actions and eventually realize the void your absence has created. Silence becomes a mirror, reflecting the reality that you are no longer there to fill the gap. In that pause, they begin to realize what they've lost: your presence. The brilliance of silence lies in its subtlety. While it may seem like doing nothing, it actually communicates confidence and emotional control. You're signaling that you are in charge of your emotions and that you do not need to constantly seek validation from others. Silence, in this way, speaks volumes. It says, "I'm worth more than this treatment, and I don't need to chase after you to prove it." Imagine this scenario: you've sent a message and hours go by without a reply. Naturally, frustration builds up. You begin to overthink, contemplating whether to send another message or perhaps follow up in some other way. But instead of reacting, what if you simply chose to remain silent? By doing so, you're shifting the balance of power. Now, it's the other person who is left wondering, why haven't you followed up? What's happening in your world? The mystery of your silence becomes a source of curiosity and reflection for them. In this silence, you're not playing games or acting out of spite. You're preserving your dignity. You're making a statement: I don't need to react to everything immediately, and my self-worth isn't tied to your response. This doesn't just create an air of mystery, but sends a clear message that your time and attention are valuable. It forces the other person to confront their own behavior, often leading them to reassess how they've treated you. Think about the most powerful moments in film or literature. Often the most intense scenes aren't driven by dialogue or action, but by silence. There's that pause, that breathless moment when nothing is said, yet everything is felt. The camera lingers, and the audience is left on edge, anticipating what comes next. That's the kind of tension you create with silence. In personal relationships, it's no different. By stepping back and saying nothing, you give the other person the space to truly feel your absence. It's in those quiet moments that they realize just how much your presence meant. Now, how can you apply this in your own life? The next time someone ignores you, resist the urge to react immediately. Instead, allow the silence to linger. Take a deep breath and give yourself time to reflect before deciding how or if you'll respond. This isn't about withholding communication to manipulate the other person, but about protecting your own emotional well-being. You're giving yourself the power to decide when and how you engage, rather than being at the mercy of someone else's whims. In fact, by delaying your response, you're not just creating space for yourself to think clearly, but you're also allowing the other person to feel the weight of your absence. That quietness becomes a powerful tool, communicating more than words ever could. It lets the other person know that you're not someone who can be taken for granted, that your presence is valuable, and that your silence can be more compelling than any words you might have spoken. In essence, silence is not about weakness or passivity, it's about strength. It's a way of standing firm in your confidence and showing that you don't need to chase after anyone to prove your worth. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where you're being ignored, don't rush to fill the silence. Let it sit. Let it sit. Let it breathe. And in that space, you'll find the power that comes from knowing your own value. If you've ever felt ignored or undervalued, now is the time to take back control. Don't be afraid to use silence as a tool to protect your dignity and maintain your self-respect. You're the one who decides how you engage with others, and sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to say nothing at all. Embrace the quiet and let your silence speak for you. 4. Engage your social circle and expand it. When someone ignores you, it's natural to feel hurt and isolated. That feeling of being overlooked can weigh heavily, making you question your worth. But the truth is, your value isn't tied to one person's attention or validation. Rather than retreating into solitude, this is the perfect moment to step out and reconnect with your broader social circle. Your life is full of connections, and those relationships are what truly matter. Feeling ignored by someone important can make you feel like you're not appreciated, but it's crucial to remember that your worth doesn't rest in one person's hands. You have people around you, friends, family, acquaintances who value you for who you are. Isolation only deepens the pain of being ignored, creating a space where you feel more vulnerable to negative emotions. Instead of sinking into that emotional quicksand, the key is to stay socially active. Engaging with others reminds you that you are important to many people, not just the one who may have overlooked you. It shifts your focus from the hurt to the bigger picture. Your life is full of energy and vibrancy, and one person's behavior doesn't change that. By continuing to participate in social activities, whether it's calling up a friend, attending an event, or simply engaging with a new group of people, you show the world and yourself that your life doesn't revolve around any single person. This not only helps you feel more in control, but also proves to yourself that your connections extend far beyond the one relationship causing you pain. Every time you step out and engage, you're showing that you have a support system, and more importantly, that your worth isn't defined by one person's attention. Think about how celebrities handle public breakups. They don't disappear from the spotlight. Instead, they show up at events, surrounded by friends, laughing, smiling, and thriving. They refuse to let a single breakup define their lives, instead embracing the fullness of their social circles to remind the world and themselves that they are strong and valued. You can adopt the same approach. Staying socially active serves as a reminder that you are valued, respected, and appreciated by many people, not just the one who has ignored you. So rather than letting the pain of being ignored consume you, take action. Pick up the phone and call a friend. Make plans to do something fun, whether it's trying a new activity, visiting a new place, or attending a social event. These small steps help shift your focus away from the one person who's ignoring you and toward the many people who care about you. When you engage with others, you build a stronger sense of self-worth and prevent the emotional spiral of isolation. Ultimately, your value lies not in being recognized by one person, but in the quality and strength of the relationships you cultivate. Life is full of opportunities to connect with others and to build meaningful relationships that remind you of your importance. If you're feeling overlooked, take the chance to reach out, meet new people, and expand your social circle. Your life is rich with possibilities, and by stepping out, you're proving to yourself and to the world that your value transcends any one person's attention. If you ever find yourself in this situation, don't hesitate to take action. Engage with your friends, expand your network, and take charge of your social life. By doing so, you'll remind yourself that your value is inherent and not determined by someone else's recognition. Your life is vibrant and full of energy, and it's up to you to embrace that truth and keep moving forward. 5. Reinvent yourself publicly. Have you ever felt so invisible that someone's silence stung deeper than any insult? In those moments, when it feels like you've been pushed aside or dismissed, it's easy to let the feeling of being overlooked define you. But instead of waiting for their attention, why not turn that silence into an opportunity? The best way to rise above being ignored isn't to seek validation from others, it's to reinvent yourself in a way that makes you impossible to ignore. This reinvention isn't about superficial changes like a new outfit or a different hairstyle, though those can help boost your confidence. The transformation that truly makes an impact goes deeper. It's about becoming someone stronger, more confident, and more resilient, a version of yourself that commands attention without saying a word. When someone ignores you, it can feel like you've lost value in their eyes, like you're insignificant. The power in public reinvention lies in showing, not telling, that their perception doesn't define you. By visibly evolving, you demonstrate that you didn't just survive their neglect, you thrived in spite of it. This kind of change leaves a lasting impression. The person you become isn't someone who waits for validation, but someone who radiates it naturally. The real challenge in this transformation is how you respond to being ignored. It's tempting to retreat, to let self-doubt take over, and to shrink in the face of rejection. But what if, instead of retreating, you leaned into change? Reinventing yourself publicly isn't just about proving something to others, it's about proving to yourself that you are capable of growth, strength, and resilience. It's about evolving in a way that makes it impossible for anyone to overlook you again. Think of the moments when people who were once dismissed or ignored suddenly emerged as unstoppable forces. They didn't just change their appearance or attitude, they took on new challenges, stepped out of their comfort zones, and made their growth visible. They shared their journeys, whether it was through reaching a fitness goal, learning a new skill, or achieving a career milestone. Their reinvention wasn't quiet, it was loud, proud, and inspiring. The power of sharing your transformation lies in its visibility. When others see your journey, the struggles, the victories, the sheer determination, they can no longer deny your presence. You've made your growth something that can't be ignored. Whether it's through social media, conversations, or small daily actions, showing the world that you're evolving sends a message louder than any words could. You didn't just get through their silence, you became someone better because of it. Imagine a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. It doesn't just become something different, it becomes something stronger, more beautiful, and impossible to overlook. This is the essence of public reinvention. You're not just overcoming the pain of being ignored, you're transforming into someone more powerful and resilient. The old you might have been easy to dismiss, but the new you will demand recognition through sheer presence and strength. Now is the time to take that step. Pick one area of your life where you're ready to evolve. Maybe it's a personal project you've been putting off, a fitness goal you want to achieve, or a major career shift you've been too afraid to pursue. Whatever it is, commit to it fully and make sure your growth is visible. Don't hide your transformation, share it. Let others see the journey you're on, from the struggles to the triumphs, and make sure they know that you're not just surviving, you're thriving. By reinventing yourself publicly, you take control of the narrative. You show that you're not defined by the way others treat you. Their silence doesn't hold power over you anymore. Instead, you've turned it into the fuel that propels you forward, into someone stronger and more confident than before. So, if you're feeling ignored or overlooked, don't let that silence weigh you down. Turn it into an opportunity for growth. Choose to evolve into the best version of yourself, and make sure the world can't help but notice your transformation. Don't wait for validation, show them who you've become. Start today, and let your reinvention speak for itself. 6. Let time be your ally, play the long game. In a world that often prioritizes instant gratification, it's easy to feel the pressure to achieve quick results, especially when someone ignores you. However, true personal growth, success, and resilience take time, and that's not only normal but essential for lasting fulfillment. When you're overlooked or disregarded, rather than scrambling to gain someone's attention, the best approach is to play the long game. Focusing on gradual, meaningful progress allows you to build a stronger, more resilient version of yourself, laying a solid foundation for future success. In today's fast-paced society, we're often conditioned to seek immediate results. Whether it's advancing in our careers, achieving personal goals, or getting validation from others, the desire for quick wins can be overwhelming. But instant success rarely brings lasting satisfaction. The things that come easily tend to fade just as quickly, leaving us feeling unfulfilled and searching for more. This is especially true when it comes to relationships or social interactions. Being ignored can spark an urgent need to prove ourselves, to force recognition. However, this reaction is fleeting and superficial. Instead, what if we embraced the idea that true transformation takes time, and that personal growth is a process worth investing in, regardless of how long it takes? By focusing on long-term growth rather than short-term validation, you not only secure a more stable transformation, but you also develop key traits like patience and discipline. These traits are essential for building character and commanding respect not just from others, but from yourself. Patience allows you to take steady, intentional steps forward, understanding that real change is gradual. Discipline ensures that even when the progress seems slow, you remain committed to your goals. Together, these traits create resilience, the ability to keep moving forward, even when obstacles arise. And over time, it's this resilience that will propel you toward your aspirations, allowing you to achieve results that are both meaningful and lasting. The reason this approach is so effective is that it shifts the focus from external validation to internal growth. When you're investing in long-term goals, you're not rushing to make someone notice you or to prove your worth in the moment. Instead, you're focused on becoming the best version of yourself for your own sake. This shift in perspective is powerful because it puts you back in control of your life. No longer are you at the mercy of someone else's attention or approval. Each day that you work toward your goals, no matter how small the steps may seem, brings you closer to the person you want to be. This process of slow, steady growth ensures that the changes you make are authentic and deeply rooted. Think of the journey of a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. Each strike of the hammer may seem insignificant at first, but over time, those careful, deliberate motions shape the stone into a masterpiece. The sculptor doesn't rush because they understand that creating something beautiful takes time and precision. This is the path you're on as well. Each day that you commit to working on yourself, you're slowly revealing the best version of who you are. There's no need to hurry. Every step you take, no matter how small, is meaningful because it's part of the process of transformation. So how do you start embracing the long game in your own life? The key is to set long-term goals that align with your personal and professional aspirations. These goals should be about becoming the best version of yourself, not about proving something to others. Whether it's improving your health, advancing in your career, or mastering a new skill, focus on the journey rather than the destination. Each day that you put effort into these goals, you're not just working toward a better future, you're actively building it. The beauty of long-term growth is that it's sustainable and deeply fulfilling because it's rooted in your own values and ambitions. Ultimately, playing the long game means you're not seeking quick fixes or temporary victories. You're investing in something much greater, a version of yourself that's resilient, strong, and capable of enduring challenges. Time becomes your ally, allowing you to grow and evolve at a pace that ensures lasting success. The next time someone ignores you, don't feel the need to react impulsively or prove yourself immediately. Instead, see it as a chance to refocus on your long-term growth. Remember, the greatest transformations don't happen overnight. They're the result of patience, discipline, and steady progress over time. If you're ready to take control of your future, start by writing down a long-term goal that excites you, one that might take weeks, months, or even years to accomplish. Begin working on it today, knowing that each small step you take is part of a larger, more meaningful journey. You're not racing for quick validation, you're building a life that's truly your own, one step at a time. 7. Master presence with distance. Have you ever wondered how to maintain a captivating presence without becoming too close or overly familiar? When someone ignores you, it's natural to feel tempted to either push for their attention or withdraw completely. However, neither extreme will serve you well in the long run. The key to holding someone's interest while maintaining your dignity is learning to master the balance between warmth and distance. Think of yourself as the sun, essential to life but too intense to get too close to. When someone disregards you, It's easy to fall into the trap of overcompensating by giving them too much attention, or, conversely, by distancing yourself completely. Both approaches can diminish your value in their eyes. If you give too much, you risk appearing desperate. If you distance yourself too much, you might simply fade from their thoughts. The true power lies in striking the right balance, offering enough warmth to keep them interested, while maintaining enough distance to remain mysterious and independent. Achieving this balance can be challenging. You want to show that you care, but without appearing overly eager. At the same time, you need to maintain enough distance so that you're not taken for granted. Think of it like being the sun in someone's life. The sun gives light and warmth, but we can't get too close to it. It's too powerful, too intense. It's that combination of being essential yet out of reach that creates a sense of awe and intrigue. This concept applies directly to how you can interact with people who may be ignoring you. By being warm but distant, you maintain an air of mystery. This combination is key because it leaves the other person wondering about you, wanting more but never quite sure where they stand. They remain interested and intrigued, which keeps you in their thoughts. You're present, but not too close to lose your allure. Consider charismatic leaders who effortlessly captivate those around them. They exude warmth, making people feel valued and respected. Yet there's always a part of them that remains inaccessible, adding to their appeal. People admire them, respect them, and are drawn to their energy, but they never feel completely comfortable or familiar enough to take them for granted. This is the power of maintaining the right distance. It keeps others on their toes, wondering and wanting more. So, how do you apply this in your own life? Start by being thoughtful in your interactions. Be warm, be engaging, and offer genuine interest. But at the same time, hold something back. Keep an element of mystery, whether it's by not always being available or by not sharing everything about yourself right away. By doing this, you create a presence that's magnetic. People are drawn to warmth, but they stay because they're curious about what's beneath the surface. Ultimately, the way to handle being ignored is not by chasing validation or withdrawing completely. Instead, it's about holding your ground with confidence. You don't need to force yourself into someone's attention or disappear from their world. You become more powerful by maintaining that perfect balance, being present but not too close. Your warmth draws people in, but your distance keeps them intrigued. If you ever feel ignored or overlooked, remember the key is to master presence with distance. Don't push yourself forward or pull back completely. Be like the sun, necessary, warm, but just distant enough to be admired from afar. In doing so, you'll find that people won't be able to ignore you for long. Instead, they'll be captivated by the unique combination of accessibility and mystery that you offer. Being ignored doesn't define you, it's how you respond that truly matters. By choosing strength, confidence, and self-growth over seeking validation, you win every time. The goal is to become so powerful, resilient, and undeniably amazing that no one's attention or lack thereof can shake your foundation. This is your chance to take control of your own story and show the world the unstoppable force you're becoming. Choose one tactic from this list today. Whether it's mastering silence, expanding your social circle, or reinventing yourself, and take that first step toward owning your power. This is your moment, seize it. If you enjoyed this, comment with the number 1, share, and subscribe for more content on embracing your inner strength.